Oh, hey, Msoul. Over here, it's Venus. Venus Callida. Fancy seeing you float by. Hey, why don't we hang out together for this little break? I've got some fun facts to share with you about expressions, and I know some of you like word history. So I thought, why not? Just let's chill and chat. Don't forget to hydrate, eh? All right. Well, anyways, so I was looking it up the other day, and you know how some people say you're pushing the envelope or don't push the envelope? Well, I wanted to know where that comes from. Why do we say it? And here's what I found out. Pushing the envelope, basically it's an aviation expression, and it refers to how a test pilot would receive their instructions for challenges and they need to know their limits when they're doing their flights. So these instructions, if not a death sentence, were very often a flirtation with disaster. And so the gravity of issuing such an order was understood but not spoken. So instead, the impersonal assignment came within an envelope, silently slid or pushed across the desk from one man to another. So pushing the envelope, that's telling a pilot, you're going to have to pull a kamikaze move up there. Good luck. And I hope you return. Oh my goodness. I didn't even have any idea that that's what it came from. But I have seen in movies when people pass an envelope across the table. I didn't know that means a near-death situation. I'm going to look at spy movies with a different understanding. Here's another one. That insult called you couldn't hold a candle to. Where does that come from? And why is it an insult? So, to couldn't hold a candle to something, the derogatory expression, it's from the 16th century, so it's pretty old. So before there was electricity, experienced workers that were needing light to work by, they would have a young apprentice that would hold a candle so that they could see and to complete their work, especially if it was a complex job. So holding a candle for a skilled tradesperson gave the apprentice a chance to watch and learn. But if he couldn't even do that properly, it was said despairingly that he couldn't hold a candle to that tradesperson. And so by comparison, you can't even handle holding a candle, you're not going to see to learn. So you're not going to be able to observe, you're not going to learn. Interesting. So it's kind of like calling you dumb. Or useless? Huh. Well, who wants to get burning wax down their fingers anyways? Well, maybe you. Keep that to yourself. This is a clean channel. I just joke. Oh, we're just floating around, just messing with you. Okay, there's another expression called having a chip on your shoulder. And where does that come from? I always imagine it's like a chunk of rock that's fallen on you and you've got to brush it off. Like you brush off your troubles, right? So where does it come from? In early England, one man would challenge another man to a duel by slapping his face with a glove. That part I actually knew. The challenge was a serious matter of honor, and if the slapped man did not accept it, he would be branded a coward. So having a chip on your shoulder was kind of like a wild card? It's like being in the wild, wild west before they cross the ocean to have duels with their guns. Okay. So, generally, less mortal in nature, boys and men would place a wood chip on their shoulder, challenging anyone who dared knock it off to a fist fight. So, if a man had a chip on his shoulder, he was clearly in an aggressive mood and spoiling for a fight. He's like, give me the excuse. So I guess that's to prove that you're not a coward in a duel. Staying on the right side of the law. Let them hit you first, and then you're just defending yourself. So they're cruising for a bruising if they, brush your shoulder, knocking the chip off. If you have a chip on your shoulder, you're pissed. You want to have a fight. It's an excuse for a fight. You're inviting someone, you're daring them. My goodness. I don't know. So many ways to wrap your head around things once you find out where it comes from. So it's like the pre-duel. It's like they graduated from slapping you in the face with a glove, fancy pantses, to walking around with a chip on your shoulder, literally. So if someone knocks it off, they're saying, I'll fight you. And then finally with the pistols and firecrackers of the Wild Wild West. I don't know. When you don't have a TV, you get funny ideas for dealing with your stuff. All right, I guess. I don't know. Okay. Why is it said that something with proven quality has passed the acid test? I remember doing acid and base litmus tests in science class. Is that what this is about? Okay, so if someone had passed the acid test, it usually means that he's been proven their value through experience or trial. So when gold was in wide circulation, jewelers and assayers, they needed a method of testing golden objects and nuggets that were brought into them for cash. So because nitric acid dissolves base metals but not gold, interesting, a drop was applied to the suspect object, and if the metal didn't dissolve, it had passed the acid test and was confirmed to be real gold, so of real value. Interesting. Okay. I don't think we do that these days. I just don't know. I don't know. Okay. Why do we say a nervous person waits with bated breath? I've always heard about this when it comes to like romance stories. What is bated breath? To me, as a fisher person, did somebody eat a worm? That's what bait is, right? Huh? I don't know. Well, okay, let's find out. So the body has... Oh my goodness. Instinctive reactions to emotional circumstances. And one of these is how we breathe during times of apprehension. Okay, like... Okay. Our breathing becomes short and controlled when we're in crisis. Baited is a variation of this breathing. So abated, both meaning restricted. So therefore, when someone is in a state of fear or suspense and his breath becomes restricted, said to be waiting with bated breath. Okay. And why do we say, if you believe that, I've got a bridge to sell you? I always thought that was like a con game of the Brooklyn Bridge. Someone stood on it and pretended to be the owner of it and sold it to somebody else who thought, I can charge tolls for people driving across it. It looks important. And yeah, so let's find out. Oh, it is the Brooklyn Bridge. Okay, so after the Brooklyn Bridge was built in 1883, a young con man named George Parker approached the gullible as its owner, and after explaining the fortune to be made through toll booths, he would sell the bridge for as much as $50,000. Parker went to jail for life because of this? Oh, wow. But not before selling the Statue of Liberty, Grant's tomb, and Madison Square Gardens, leaving us to the expressions, I got a bridge I'd like to sell you. Did he get to keep the money? Did he spend it before he had to go to jail? Wow, but a life sentence. Oh my goodness. How? Okay, I got one more for you. Why do we say that a victim of his own scheming has been hoisted on his own petard? I've never heard of this. Is there anyone out there that's heard of this? I'm thinking Picard, but not petard. That sounds like a French word, pétard. Pétard. Hoisted to me means like you've been noosed. So, I don't know. Okay, let's find out. Oh, we have Shakespeare to blame for this one. All right, here we go. The phrase hoisted with his own petard is found in Shakespeare's Hamlet. Woo! It has come to mean that someone has been or will be hurt by the very device he's created to injure someone else. So kind of like in, I'm actually thinking of a lot like the Three Stooges, where they put the can of paint on top of an ajar door, but then the guy, in trying to lure someone into the room to have the paint fall on them, forgets to put it up there in some brief mind fart and like goes to open the door to call them in and the pig can falls on himself. Something like that. All right, yeah, long-winded, but we got to the point. Here we go. Okay, so hoist means to raise something into the air. Well, petard is an antiquated word for bomb. Raise up a bomb? Wait, you know what? The paint can? Paint bomb. Got it. Therefore, if you were hoisted on your own petard, it means you were blown up by your own bomb. Also, like when your plans blow up in your face. And petard. Petard. It's got to be a French word. It doesn't sound right in English. I'm going to go with that. I am definitely going to go with that. Okay. Just because this is too much fun. Usually a nice coffee break, a drink break, a mind break, about 15 minutes. We're at 11. So I'm going to share with you one more at the risk of, I don't know if I've ever told you this one before. So we're going to go to it. When you're in close quarters, I always thought that meant like you're penned in a little room and you can't get the doors open, except you didn't pay to have an escape experience. It ticks you off. So why, when we're in a limited space, do we call it close quarters? Okay. All right, here we go. So in close quarters has a meaning to be overwhelmed in a small space. And it's a naval term coming from the 1700s. I love that there's so many things we say or we've heard of that come from like pre-great-grandparents. And it's still around. So merchant sailing ships laden with valuable cargo had their decks outfitted with 4 strong wooden barriers with musket holes to which they could retreat and continue to fight if they were boarded by pirates or privateers. They referred to these desperate circumstances as fighting at close quarters. Interesting. Okay. And finally, the last one in all of our questions with answers. Why is someone lost if he doesn't have a clue? I don't have a clue. Oh, you don't have a clue. All right, why? The original spelling of clue was C-L-E-W, and its forgotten meaning is a ball of yarn or a ball of string. A clue, C-L-E-W. A clue is a ball of yarn or a ball of string. Hand me that clue. Has a totally new meaning. I want to mess with people with that one. A clue of string was unraveled as a guide. Ooh, like in ancient mythology, the guy who had to go into the maze and Ariadne or Adriana or someone, King Midas's kingdom, I think, on Minos, in Nox, I think Minos, in the kingdom of Minos, and he had to go into the Minotaur's maze and go get something and come back alive, and so the daughter gave him a ball of wool, a skein of thread, so a clue. And he had unraveled it as he went through the maze so that once he found the object, he could follow the string back, kind of like having a path of breadcrumbs, but it was through unraveling the ball of string to find his way back. And why would she have it? Because she's an upper class woman and she has to do stitching with tapestries. So she would have some lying around. She had a clue. She gave him a clue and he found his way back to her. All right. My mind just goes on little rabbit holes when I hear where our things come from. Okay. So a clue of string was unraveled as a guide out after entering an unfamiliar maze or a cave. If you became lost, all you had to do was follow the string back to the point of origin. It's your clue to escape. Okay. So in the modern cliche, if someone doesn't have a clue, he's in the dark with no idea how to get out of his dilemma. Ooh. I really like that, and it totally directly links to that myth. I just can't remember the name of the guy. Was it Adonis? Was it Jason? We'll have to look this up. Maybe if you guys know, tell me in the comments. In Greek mythology, definitely, there was a princess who gave a clue to a hot guy, a demigod of, I think, Zeus's offspring. Oh my goodness, that is hilarious. Well, Msoul, thank you for letting me share with you this little break. I hope you had a little giggle or heard something really interesting that perks up and fires off all those neurons in your brain. It's always good to like enliven ourselves. I hope you're feeling refreshed. I know I do. I'm going to keep floating around here, but I'll see you around. And yeah, keep an eye out. I'll see you next time. Bye. Have a great day out there. You deserve it.